New York City's rise to global prominence is a story that stretches across centuries, driven by geography, ambition, innovation, and diversity. Its transformation from a modest Dutch settlement into a world capital of finance, art, and culture is one of the most remarkable urban evolutions in history. The city's unique blend of opportunity and relentless energy has made it a magnet for dreamers, workers, and visionaries from every corner of the globe to understand how New York became one of the most popular and influential cities in the world. We must trace the forces economic, political, cultural, and social that shaped its destiny. The origins of New York City can be traced back to 1624, when Dutch settlers established a trading post on the southern tip of Manhattan Island, known as New Amsterdam. This small settlement quickly became a vital hub for trade due to its strategic location near the mouth of the Hudson River, the Dutch West. India Company recognized the area's potential for commerce, using it as a gateway for goods flowing between Europe and the New World, even in these early years. The seeds of New York's cosmopolitan identity were planted, as the colony attracted settlers of various European backgrounds, setting the stage for the city's future as a melting pot of cultures. In 1664, the British seized control of New Amsterdam and renamed it New York. In honor of the Duke of York, under British rule, the city expanded rapidly, becoming an essential port in the transatlantic trade network. Its harbor, deep, wide, and protected, made it ideal for shipping. This natural advantage was a critical factor in New York's rise. Few cities in the world had such a perfect combination of access to inland waterways and the open ocean. The harbor enabled New York to become a center for trade, drawing merchants, sailors, and entrepreneurs seeking profit in the colonies. Following the American Revolution, New York emerged as a symbol of the newly independent United States. In 1789, George Washington took the oath of office as the nation's first president in New York City, which briefly served as the country's capital. Although the capital would later move to Philadelphia and then Washington, D.C. New York's status as an economic and cultural hub only grew. The city's population swelled as commerce flourished and new immigrants arrived, drawn by the promise of work and freedom. One of the most transformative developments in New York's history was the completion of the Erie Canal in 1825. This massive engineering project connected the Great Lakes with the Atlantic Ocean via the Hudson River, turning New York into the principal gateway for goods entering and leaving the American interior. The canal reduced shipping costs dramatically and fueled the growth of trade, making New York the economic heart of the nation. By mid-century, the city had become America's busiest port, solidifying its role as a global commercial center. Immigration was another key factor in shaping New York's character and influence. Between the 1840s and early 1900s, millions of immigrants Irish, German, Italian, Jewish, Chinese, and many others arrived through Ellis Island. These new arrivals provided the labor force that powered the city's factories, built its infrastructure, and enriched its cultural landscape. Each wave of immigrants added new languages, foods, traditions, and artistic expressions, creating one of the most diverse cities in the world. This diversity gave New York a vibrancy that few other cities could match. By the late 19th century, New York had become a center of finance and industry. The rise of Wall Street and the establishment of the New York Stock Exchange turned the city into the financial capital of the United States and eventually the world. Banking magnates such as J.P. Morgan and industrialists like Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller shaped not only the city's skyline, but also global economic systems. New York's ability to attract capital and innovation made it the beating heart of modern capitalism. Cultural institutions began to flourish alongside economic growth. The Metropolitan Museum of Art, Carnegie Hall, and the New York Public Library emerged as symbols of the city's dedication to art, music, and knowledge. Theater found a home in the district that would become known as Broadway, where performers from around the world came to showcase their talent. Newspapers like the New York Times and the New York Herald helped shape national opinion, turning the city into a center of media and communication. The construction boom of the early 20th century transformed New York's skyline into an architectural marvel. The rise of skyscrapers such as the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, and later the Rockefeller Center made the city a global symbol of progress and modernity. These engineering feats reflected the ambition and optimism of the era, embodying the idea that in New York, the sky truly was the limit. The skyline itself became a form of advertisement for the city's dynamism. As the 20th century progressed, New York became synonymous with opportunity and cultural innovation. The Harlem Renaissance of the 1920s marked a profound moment in American culture. As African-American writers, musicians, and artists redefined literature and music, jazz clubs flourished, and figures like Langston Hughes and Duke Ellington made Harlem the center of a cultural revolution. This period cemented New York's reputation as a place where creativity and social change could thrive side by side. During and after World War II, New York rose to prominence as a global political and diplomatic hub. In 1945, the United Nations was founded in the city, symbolizing its new role as an international center for peace and cooperation. The presence of the UN headquarters solidified New York's status as a crossroads of global dialogue, where nations met to discuss the most pressing issues of the world. The post-war era also saw the city become a global media powerhouse. Television networks like CBS and NBC were headquartered there, broadcasting entertainment and news to millions worldwide. Madison Avenue became the heart of the advertising industry, shaping global consumer culture. The combination of Wall Street finance, Madison Avenue marketing, and Broadway entertainment made New York a force that influenced nearly every aspect of modern life. However, the city's journey was not without challenges. The mid-20th century brought waves of economic decline, rising crime, and urban decay. Manufacturing jobs disappeared, and poverty rose in many neighborhoods. Yet New York's resilience shone through. In the 1970s and 1980s, artists and entrepreneurs began revitalizing abandoned districts, transforming Soho, Tribeca, and the East Village into centers of art and innovation. This creative energy sparked a cultural rebirth. The late 20th century also saw the city reassert its position as a financial and cultural titan. Wall Street became the nerve center of the global economy, attracting investment and talent from around the world. Meanwhile, immigrants continued to arrive, ensuring that New York's cultural mosaic never stopped evolving. By the 1990s, the city had reclaimed its reputation as the capital of the world, hosting industries that shaped art, fashion, music, and technology. The tragic events of September 11, 2001 tested New York's spirit like never before. The terrorist attacks destroyed the World Trade Center and claimed thousands of lives, shaking the city to its core. Yet, in the aftermath, New Yorkers came together in unity, resilience, and determination. The rebuilding of Lower Manhattan and the creation of the One World Trade Center became symbols of strength and rebirth, showing the world that New York could rise again from devastation. Today, New York City stands as a global capital of finance, art, fashion, and diplomacy. Its influence extends across every continent. From the stock exchanges of London and Tokyo to the fashion runways of Paris and Milan, it is home to some of the world's largest corporations, prestigious universities, and renowned cultural institutions. Tourists from all over the globe visit to experience the energy and diversity that only New York can offer. The city's neighborhoods from Brooklyn to Queens, the Bronx to Staten Island, each contribute to its unique identity. The mix of cultures and cuisines makes every block a miniature world. This diversity continues to fuel creativity, innovation, and collaboration, ensuring that New York remains at the forefront of global trends. Technology has further cemented New York's role as a hub of progress. The rise of tech startups, the digital media boom, and investment in infrastructure have positioned the city as a rival to Silicon Valley. Its blend of old-world prestige and modern innovation ensures that it remains both a symbol of history and a laboratory for the future. Ultimately, New York City's global influence lies not just in its buildings or industries, but in its spirit. It is a place that thrives on ambition, reinvention, and diversity, a city that constantly evolves yet never loses its core identity. From its beginnings as a small Dutch trading post to its status as one of the most powerful cities on Earth, how New York represents the enduring human desire to build, to dream, and to lead.